Part 2, my thoughts on today's production of Don Carlo, which came live from the Bavarian State Opera. Well, I was really looking forward to this because it had one of my very favorite singers, Janos Kaufman, singing in the very unthankful role of Don Carlo. Usually, when I see Don Carlo, I always think he and Elisabetta, poor them. It's this great opera, and they just don't have such great music. Well, forget that. That wasn't today. Janos Kaufman brought such a ferocity to his portrayal of the enfant king that he was really a character, not just some guy that gets out there and sings a little while we wait for all the good music. And I've heard a lot of complaints about Janos Kaufman's acting. Who are these people? He's a terrific actor. He's a terrific everything. How anybody can find one thing wrong with him is beyond me. All right. So then there were other singers too in this opera. And the next most ungratifying role is that of Elisabetta. And that was sung by a soprano who I admire tremendously. Her name is, however you pronounce it, Anya Harteros. She is German of some Greek heritage. She's a wonderful, wonderful voice, but it doesn't sound like a Verdi voice. When I think of a Verdi voice singing these kinds of roles or big Puccini roles, my ideal sound is Leontine Price, but she's not here anymore. Or Renata Tebaldi. She doesn't sing anymore either. Or we could have Montserrat Caballé, especially for all those big high notes that are supposed to be so lovely and soft. She's not singing either. So we have a whole crop of singers, all of whom have a shortcoming here or there. And I'm not going to say that Miss Harteros has a shortcoming, but it's not what I would call my ideal sound for a Verdi soprano. However, saying that, she was absolutely fabulous. Her big aria at the end of the opera is a killer. Up and down, up, I should have gone down and up. I mean, it's all over the place. And you've got to sing it all really, really well. And she did. And you know what? She got the biggest round of applause, which she so deserved. And she was in the company of a lot of good singers. So usually opera reviews start with the production. Okay, here we go. My view on the production. As the feed came to me, it was all in blue. The fountain blue part looked like the Blue Man Group. Even the skin tones are blue, but that quickly fixed itself up. And it was a very appropriate forest scene, kind of dark. And then, of course, there's the lovely little love duet between the two of them. They sang so beautifully. Usually I just can't wait. Get them out of the way. We want to get to the big drama. But here it was just magical. They were so fabulous. And then the chorus comes out. And I couldn't really tell what it was because I was watching on my TV from so far. First I thought Christmas trees were coming up in the back. But it was the chorus members all dressed up. It was very beautiful. And then poor Elisabetta, instead of getting Don Carlo, she gets Philip. Oh well, we all knew that this was happening anyway. And they get these beautiful costumes. I have to say, the costumes were magnificent. They looked real, like they went to a museum and got them out of storage. The rest of the production was also kind of just dark, except the auto da fe scene, which is always where the artistry and all the magic has to come, was done very, very well. Now, here's something kind of interesting. I saw Don Carlo on a live HD feed from the Met last year with two singers who sang in this production and the Met production. The Met production was also dark, and the costumes were nice. Bavarian State Opera costumes way better. Getting on with the singers, of course, the next big singer you want to hear is you want to hear a great basso singing Philip. Without a great basso singing Philip, you might as well just not even have this opera. And Renee Papa was wonderful, as always. I just recently heard him in Faust, and he was also fabulous in that. He's good in everything. I mean, what can you say? The man's a really, really good singer. He did a very good job on his big aria and on his very big duet with the other basso, his duet with the baritone. However, something was just a little lacking. I don't know what it is. Maybe because we expect so much from him, and he's always so good, that if he's just really, really good, we don't think he's great. I don't know. But he was really good. Then we had the mezzo. The same mezzo that the Met had. Her name is something like Anna Smirnova. I hope I've pronounced that right. I did not like her at all at the Met production. I thought she was the low point. Today, she was way better. This is in only 1 year. In the Met production, I felt she was extremely insecure and should not have been on the stage with the other singers. Today, I felt she held her own, and she did a fine job. Of course, I have very high expectations for Eboli. I want to hear a great singer. Just being good doesn't do it for me. She was good. She wasn't great. I don't know how old she is. I have a feeling she's young, so she might be great in 5 years. We'll see. She certainly improved in the year since the Met. Also in the Met production was Eric Halverson playing the Grand Inquisitor, and today he played the Grand Inquisitor again. In the Met production, he wore orange. Today he wore purple. Special note to Eric. Orange and purple, not your colors. You should ask for black or gold or something else. Those two colors, no. And today he wore sort of sunglasses. In the Met production, he really looked blind, like that. Today he had these black things across his face. But he's terrific. He's very inquisitorial. And he's grand, as he should be. He has that great presence. He looks the part. I don't mean he looks like an inquisitor, but I mean he looks like he's ferocious, because that's what he's supposed to be. Then there was someone whose name I did not know. I think it's Boaz. I forgot what his last name is. Samuel. He played Rodrigo, the friend of Carlo. I thought he was the weakest link in the opera. He was not at the same level as the other singers. Or maybe he was at the same level. Maybe I just didn't like his voice as much. He does have one thing going for him, and that is he has a real presence to penetrate over the orchestra. Very strong. And that was a huge plus for him. But I did not find his voice as a typical, a great Verdi baritone voice, and I didn't find it lyrical enough. This role, I think you have to have both. You have to have both a big Verdi voice and be very lyrical as well. And it's hard to find that today, to have both those qualities. In terms of the rest of the production, it was good, but not great. I actually liked it better, though, in general than the Met's production. The Bavarian State Opera has a wonderful orchestra and fabulous chorus. The conductor today his last name is Fish. I have never heard of him before. He seemed to do a good job. The music, of course, sort of does it itself. It's such great music. There were a couple of times where the orchestra and singers were not 100% together. But I will say this. He seemed to help the soprano the most in her big aria, being very, very careful to let her get over those really rough places and also to keep the orchestra playing a little bit softer, as she does not have a gigantic voice. So it was a great day for opera. I loved every minute of it. Thank you all for watching my little review.